Welcome back, new viewers and gamer bears. It is time for a new episode of the Pokemon Black and Nuzlocke, and today we're in Driftveil City and we're about to go into the amusement park over here. So we can begin with that, but before we do truly begin, why don't we do a quick team recap so you all know what team we're rocking with today. So we have Boss of the Pig Knight, level 35, holding the charcoal item with the moves Flame Charge, Arm Thrust, Heat Crash, and Workup. Next up, we have Velvet Crow, the Drillbur, with the moves Metal Claw, Earthquake, Hone Claws, and Rockside, level 35, holding a Quick Claw. Next up, we have Luger, Charismatic, the Pansage, with the moves Torment, Rock Smash, Acrobatics, and Grass Knot, holding a Miracle Seed. We have Hubert, the Oomphazone, with the moves Air Cutter, Roost, Air Slash, and Taunt. We have Kisora the Girder with Rock Throw, Focus, Energy, Rock Smash, and Wake Up Slap. And finally, Elise Ludus, the Laper. I blanked on his name for a second, with the moves Grass Knot, Pursuit, Torment, and Fake Out. So how do we go in here and begin our episode? Alright, and we got ourselves a neat looking fountain over there. And I bet, hey, look who it is. You're looking for Team Plasma, right? They ran into the amusement park. Come with me. Hello, Aaron. How are you doing today? They're not here. Let's ride the Ferris wheel and see if we can spot them. How the hell are we gonna spot them in the Ferris wheel? Those are kind of hard to see through, but whatevs. I love Ferris wheels. The circular motion, the mechanics. I like collections of elegant formulas. I'm doing very well, thank you for asking. Also, you all remember in my one episode of my 1000 Year Door remake episode? Anyways, first, I must tell you, I'm the king of Team Plasma. Getsus asked me to work with him to save Pokemon, or the Pokemon. I wonder how many Pokemon exist in this world. Millions and millions. But yeah, like I mentioned, y'all remember what I mentioned in my 1000 Year Door playthrough? That by the time we do this Nuzlocke, for this specific episode here, our question of the day would be, what is your opinion on Ferris wheels, or what is your experience with Ferris wheels, and how do you enjoy Ferris wheels? It's in the comments below, if you'd please. But anyways, my Lord N. You safe, sire? There's no problem. You're part of the people who we brought in to help us save the Pokemon, so you're under my protection as well. Go quickly, and let my battle cover your retreat. Now then, Spare Bear, do you follow my logic? If true, your words please me. Then, the future I envision. Perhaps I can't beat you here and now, but I'll battle you to buy time for these members of Team Plasma to get away. Get away from what, exactly? Oh wait, my wrath, is that it? Now it's time to fight any boy again. Been a bit since we fought this guy, and he sends out a Chandelius. But we send out Boss of the Pig Knight. Yes, I know I'm massively overleveled. There's a good reason for that. I like to see the evolutions. We also can move past these episodes a little bit faster. Also, Sigilith. I remember a friend of mine back in elementary school who was about a year older than me at the time. Well, still older than me, but I haven't seen that guy in years. But anyways, and I remember him mentioning how he had trouble with this end fight, mainly because of Sigilith, the Psychic Flying Type PC before us. It has a pretty odd design, and it's odd for a reason. I think it's partially based on Egyptian hieroglyphs. I'm not entirely sure about that, to be fair with you. But anyways, Darumaka is next. Arm Thrusters. Only 2 hits. Ow. Your Pokemon look happy. Happy beating the shit out of yours. Hey, anyways. Alright, Scraggly is your final Pokemon. Even if I lose, it's different from the future I saw. What future you saw? You can't see the future in. What do you think you are, a Psychic type trainer? The result is the same, but you... who are you? Oh, buddy, you don't know the quarter of it. You're quite strong, but I have a future that I must change, and for that future, I'll defeat the champion and become unbeatable, unlike any other. I'll make all trainers free their Pokemon, just try and stop me. Not gonna lie, I want somebody to say that to a VGC trainer. But anyways, like in the real world, if you want to be together with Pokemon, your only hope is to collect the badges for each area and head for the Pokemon League. Like you do in literally every Pokemon game? Alright. Try and stop me there if you dare. If your conviction is strong enough, you will never be able to defeat me. So you say, dude. Anyways, right over here is the Pokemon gym, actually. We'll go into that momentarily. Hey, you gotta train up, man. You're gonna need it for some of the boss fights coming along. Alright, let's just heal Balsif real fast. Probably could have just done one item just to make this faster, but eh. And then we're gonna put Velvet in the front, so we can get ourselves a nice, beautiful Escadrille. I know Escadrille evolves at level 31, or Drillbur evolves at level 31, but I saved it up to level 36, or 35 in this case, and then level 36 for on-screen for a reason. You see here, if you saw earlier, my Drillbur over here now knows Earthquake, but at level 36 it learns a really neat setup move that I really wanted to learn earlier, because as an Escadrille it doesn't get this move till level 42. Which is why I leveled it up the way I did. Hey, that's a real neat suggestion there. Or real neat theme idea right over there. Go for it, man. Anyways, time for the electric gym. And probably one of the hottest female gym leaders ever. How about it? I can see you're surprised. Would you ever have guessed that this gym is a roller coaster? Which is actually a pretty neat design choice. The only problem is, that sounds a little dangerous if there's no seatbelts in those things, but whatever. Okay, let's fill you in. And take this too. Fresh water, yay. Well, I got some fresh water next to me, but I ain't gonna drink it at the moment. In this roller coaster gym, the first step is to get in the car. Next comes the platforms. There you can change where the coaster is going. Sometimes you continue by riding the cars of opponents you defeat. That's how you aim for the gym leader. By the way, electric type Pokemon don't do well against ground type moves. Who would have guessed, man? I totally don't know. Anyways, there are no seatbelts in here. That honestly looks dangerous. I think for the point you are in Xenoblade X, that's a pretty good level. It's time to fight our first trainer here. Your fashion sense is kind of New Vema Town-ish. No, it's not. What do you mean New Vema Town-ish? Whatever. We're both Anubis and Scarabs, I see. You're challenged by Lady Magnolia. Alright, Amoga is your electric type of choice. Speaking of, y'all remember in the previous episode I mentioned one of the rustling grass Pokemon you can run into alongside Audino? Well, this is one of those rustling grass Pokemon you can run into starting with Route 16 and Route 5. Though as much as when I'm grounding I do prefer Audino for obvious reasons, Amoga's not a half-bad Pokemon, being an electric flying type. I think the first non-legendary electric flying type. But like after Cantonian Zapdos, and at the same time as Thundurus. And then before Kilowattrel existed as well. Alright, we're almost to our beautiful Excadrill. Oh no, I thought it'd be a fashionista. This chick's got a really nice design as well. Man, this game's got a lot of rockin' designs, both in its character designs, as well as its Pokemon. Most of the time. Looking at you, Stunfiskey. Alright, here is our next part of the gym. Hey you, I want to battle you. Welcome, challenger. I will do you the greatest of honors and accept your challenge. Alright, Rich Boy Cody wants to challenge you, and he has a weak little Blitzel. Alright, Blitzel, taste this Earthquake to the face. And now it's time for probably one of the most broken Gen 5 Pokemon to ever exist. And one of the most broken moves to ever exist. We got ourselves a Swords Dance. Oh, I certainly will. We've been training them just for this moment. And we don't need Hone Claws anymore. Roll, 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 roll on roller coaster. Who needs accuracy when you can just get +2 attack, huh? Just one Sword Dance and everything dies. Anyways, Velvet Crow is evolving. A part of me wants to be annoying and do the Digivolve thing, but nah, I ain't gonna do it. To a beautiful Excadrill. Fun fact about Excadrill, actually. When Pokemon Black and White were in development, Excadrill actually had a different design, mostly a different color scheme, and the red gashes on its belly were actually in the opposite direction before. And a bit of more of a magenta-ish color instead of a red color. I'll put that image in the link in the description for anyone who might be curious. Either that or in the future I'll, as usual, my unused video series, unused content video series, we can always go over it there. Are you cool riding a roller coaster? Yes, I am. When you ride a roller coaster, the speed can make you dizzy. I'm going to make your head spin with a Pokemon battle that's just as intense. And I remember that phrase, make your head spin, from Pokemon Masters, since Elesa says that a lot in that game. Alright, rich boy rolling. Hey, it's Fix-It, dude, from Grand Blue. If you play Grand Blue Fantasy or Link, you know what joke I'm making here. Anyways, ooh, this is beautiful. I know this thing gets flame charged, so I'm just gonna kill you right here and now. Get out my face. Alright, Blitzo. No, better yet, I think for the rest of this gym, I think I'm just gonna use, Pignite. Alright, I probably should save some of those Earthquakes for the Zebstrika. Got Rock Slide for those Amolgas as well. Even though I lost, I'm an ocean of calm. Also, because we were fighting against rich boy classes, or just rich people classes, they actually give us a bit more money than usual when we beat them. Your way of paddling is elegant. You got style, even compared to Miss Elesa. Alright, like I mentioned before, let us put Pignite in the front. Alright, Hubert's not— oh, wait a minute. I completely forgot. Bringing back Pansage on the team when I didn't have him in the last episode, and we have a Leaf Stone that we got in one of the previous episodes. Why don't we evolve him? Because after the 5th gym, Simisage kind of falls off. Anyways, Luger's evolving. I was a little sad because I had him in the daycare, and Pansage learned Seed Bomb at level 22, but because of how the daycare works, it no longer has Seed Bomb. Pre-Generation 8, the daycare could allow your Pokemon to learn new moves, but I see why they took that out in Generation 8. Initially I was upset about that, but after this, I see why. So now I'm stuck with the pitiful Grass Knot. So no Seed Bomb for me, since you can't remind moves in this game until post-game, which is stupid, but whatever. Anyways, let's see how your stats improved, Luger. Yeah, you see why I wanted Seed Bomb? My attack is much higher than my special attack. But I'm afraid that's what we're stuck with for now. And besides, there's another grass type I could potentially get later in this game that I'm more interested in. Look at that, we got slopes over here. Also, that's massively dangerous. Again, if there were seatbelts in there, it'd be nice. But no, they don't do seatbelts in this gym, I guess. And I will just patiently wait for this little cart to get over here. Is there somebody in this one? Yes, there is. Your Nuzlocke City Challenge is finally nearing its finale, but if you don't beat me, you won't get to Miss Elesa. To meet Miss Elesa. I'm also a Pokemon trainer who has toughened up by Miss Elesa. I'll show you power and style befitting this gym. Really, will you now? I like the roller coasters a little more in this one, though. But at least the design in Black White Team is better, I'd say. Alright, Emulger. Alright, give it a heat crash. Uh-oh. Ah, your double team didn't matter. Also, her name's Colette, the chosen of regeneration from Tales of Symphonia. If you play Tales of Symphonia, you know what I'm talking about. It pleases me to be the opponent of a strong and honorable trainer like you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going back to Silveron. Again, if you play Tales of Symphonia, you know what I'm talking about. Look who we have here. Oh, I guess we're gonna have to wait on getting Emboar. Well, nah, Moga's pretty fast. I don't really want to deal with it, to be fair with you. Or, you know what I can do? Nah, it actually might bait the AI into using a flying type move. We're just gonna stick with Velvet. I know saving doesn't really matter here, but you know what they say, it's good to keep a record, so I'm save. Alright, let me get my white girl voice fired up as well. Did the fantastic speed leave you dizzy? My beloved Pokemon will be the next one to make your head spin. That's all you have to say? Huh. No need the gym leader say a lot more, but anyways, we are battling the 4th gym leader, electric-type gym leader, Elesa, who is a model. And we'll see gym leaders being models in later games as well. Notably Nessa and Tulip. Well, technically I think... Nah, Misty wasn't a model. Elesa was definitely the one who started it, I think. Goodbye. Zebstrika does have Flame Charge, which worries me just a little bit, but... Oops, I made a mistake. Hold on. I don't even know what I just did, actually. Hold on, let me change my view. I made a little mistake. Ah, there we go. I fixed it. Sorry about that. Don't even know what I just did there. Nah, the white girl voice fits more for Elesa. Especially the voice she has in Pokemon Masters. A properly dramatic victory requires... I couldn't read that. Yeah, the Valley Girl voice is more for, like, cowgirls and stuff. Anyways, there goes Elesa. I meant to make your head spin, but... I don't know what you just said. God, the dialogue in this game is fast. My oh my, you have a sweet fighting style. I mean, you're a great trainer, excuse me, oh, here. I want you to have this. Normally I'd say the bitchy white girl voice, but Elesa definitely ain't bitchy. So it's just the white girl voice. Oh yes. That new thing there. If you'd like to click the link in the description below for those of you who are on Twitch. Alright, you've received the Bolt Badge from Elesa. If you have 4 badges, including this Bolt Badge, Pokemon up to level 50, including traded Pokemon, will obey you. Also, here's the move I like. Feel free to use it, if you want to. You got TM72 Volt Switch, which means we can do pivoting, which is going to be completely useless in the next gym. And my white girl voice is normally better than that. Let me say it like this. Oh my god! I just like saying that line with that voice. Volt Switch lets the Pokemon switch with a different Pokemon after attacking. Of course, if you don't have another Pokemon in your party, you can't switch. You're going to Driftveil City next? Of course, there's a Pokemon gym there after all. Oh, I bet you won't be able to get there. You know what? I'll fix it so you can cross. Wait for me on Route 5. Wait, I thought you were going to Route 5 while you're just standing here. You have any... Oh, it's just the dialogue you already said. Thought you'd have something more interesting to say after that, but anyways, let's get going. There's a few other things I'd like to show in Nimbasa City before we go anywhere else. Most notably, the stadiums. Alright, time to get out the gym, and what do you have to say, good sir? Elesa uses sparkle and bright electric-type attacks, but the combination of you and your Pokemon was even more impressive. It was an emotional roller coaster. Wow, get it? Emotional roller coaster? Okay. Anyways, let me switch to Balsif in the front so he can evolve. Alright, please keep it a surprise. Thank you. Alright, let's just go into the Centera real quick, get our PowerPoints back. I refuse to say the abbreviations. Because nobody's going to take it seriously if I say the abbreviation to PowerPoints, thank you. Alright, anyways, moving on. Because the stadium's over here, if you need more ways to grind in this game, especially in the post-game, and you'll see what I'm talking about later on in this playthrough, you get to fight some NPCs here. However, you can't fight them every time. Sometimes there's like a football game or a basketball game going on, and there will be no trainers in there for you to fight, or the teleporter we just went into will be blocked off. Let's fight this guy over here. Pokemon and Pokeballs are my real friends. Join the training for our Pokemon living. Striker Tony, who has a Ducklet, probably one of the worst Pokemon for me to go against. And get this Ducklet out of my way. Alright, but nice if you went for a flying time move, but there's no guarantee that that's what you're gonna do, so let's just do this. Alright, Hubert, show them your strength. Aqua Ring, that's fine by me. Man's predicting my switch outs. Right, here's an air slash for your troubles. And you flinched, haha. I still be green, but I have plenty of whatever. I can't read that fast enough. I might actually have to slow down the text speed just for that. Some of these guys you can tell are probably practicing right now. If a striker catches teammates' eye, they understand each other. A Pokemon and his trainer are the same, don't you agree? Not always, but okay. Everybody makes mistakes, but goalkeepers can't afford a mistake because they cannot score goals to make up for it. If one Pokemon on a team makes a mistake, however, the other Pokemon and their trainers can cover for it. You're right, that's a fundamental part of VGC, if I must say. A really strong trainers thoroughly do whatever they can do. Alright, well since we're only about halfway through the main story, we only have one trainer to battle in here. Once you've beaten, I believe, all 8 gym badges, there will be at least 4 trainers for you to fight, and they'll all be about in the high level 30s. Because I remember I used to grind this all the time back in elementary school as well. While I was grinding off screen, there was a tennis match going on over here, and this trainer over here already battled off screen, unless I can rebattle him. No, I cannot. Alright, onward to Route 5. We already got our encounter here last episode. And there's our rival. Spare Bear, stop. You got a Bolt Badge. I've got a Bolt Badge. Let's test who's stronger, you or me. It's time. I'm going to win. No, you are not. Hate to break it to you, good sir, but you won't be winning nothing. Alright, Trainer Chirin shows up again with a leopard. He probably has Fake Out at this point. Yeah, get used to seeing Fake Out after this point in the game. It's going to show up quite a bit from NPCs, like right now. Which, not going to lie, in single battles, well, I mean, it's infuriating in both singles or doubles, but mostly in singles it's definitely a bit annoying. Alright, we're almost to the level we need, but he sends out DeWitt. And we know exactly who we're switching into for this. Come forth, Luger. Take the water type hit head on. Oof, Razor Shell. Crit and lowered my defense. Alright, Loose Grass now did its job. Would have preferred Seed Bomb, but you know what, that's okay. Balsif is now level 36. Balsif learns Assurance. Do we need Dark type coverage? Nah. I don't need it. I don't need it. I mean, it's good for Psychic types, I guess, but aside from one of the Elite Four members, Psychic types aren't even all that prevalent in this game. Alright, so now we have a Panseer. Let's go back into Balsif. I can see why you think those two would be annoying. Flame Burst. Flame Burst has an interesting effect where in doubles, it does a small amount of damage to the partner Pokemon on the other side of the field, which is pretty cool. I kind of wish more moves that have some sort of splash effect like that. It's the only move that has that effect. Alright, and Tranquilus is the final Pokemon. Why don't we switch into our girl Velvet? Alright, come on, hit me with that flying time move. You ain't gonna do it. You ain't gonna do it. And Rock Slide for the win. Well, you are strong as usual. And now, we have one of the best starter Pokemon in my opinion, evolving. Pignite, evolve! Into the Mega Fire Pig Pokemon, Emboar! Can't wait to see what form he gets in Pokemon Legends yet. At the time of me making this video, that game is not out yet. Why? Why can't I beat you? Maybe it's because you're weak, as a certain butterfly from a Mario game once said. Oh, you two are friends? That's nice. How you're helping each other get better by competing. Okay, let's go. There's this guy with a fire head. Oh, it isn't Elesa. Art festival's grand, life should be enjoyed. Who's this old man? Is he senile? Hey, this is Alder, the Unova champions, region's champion, and apparently the champion of champions. According to Bulbapedia. You know, if you're coming at me with the title of champion of champions, and I expect you to hit me with a team with, like, Beerus the Destroyer or War Greymon or some shit. If you're telling me you're the champion of champions when people like Cynthia and Leon exist, I'm just saying. But anyways, champion? Why would the champion be goofing off in a place like this? I heard that remark. He's not whispering, dude. You're quite a judgmental young man, are you not? My name is Alder. I am the Unova Pokemon League's champion. Pleased to make your acquaintance. For your information, I'm not goofing off. I'm on a voyage. A voyage where, my dude? I know every corner of Unova. I'm Sharon. From November Town. Yeah, no, he has no game, I agree with you there. I mean, at least he tries, give him that. My goal as a trainer is to become the champion. Traveling with a goal in mind is a commendable thing. And what do you plan to do after becoming the champion? What else is there other than striving to become stronger? You can go to other regions and fight their champions, that's an option. The strongest trainer, that's the champion. There could be multiple champions, but later regions will do that. Becoming stronger, you say? Yeah, he does, and that's what I'm saying. Becoming stronger, you say? That is alone enough of a goal. That's exactly what happens. Spoilers, but this game is like, what? At the time of making this, like 14 years old? Does it really matter if it's a spoiler at this point? Whatever. It's not that I'm trying to say your way of thinking is wrong. In my travels, I've helped many people learn to love Pokemon. I think that's important too. If you play with those children, you might gain more of an understanding. Will you two have a Pokemon battle with those two? You two, come here for a moment. Hey, we have namesy now! Understood, but before that... Thanks for fully healing my Pokemon, they only took like a hit, but yeah. Okay, let's battle. Oh yeah, I remember that. During the Best Wishes arc of the anime. You're challenged by preschooler Sarah and preschooler Billy. Missed opportunity to name the Sarah girl Mandy, but whatever. Alright, Leopard, and who do I have? Balsa. Oh yes, we get to test out the Mega Fire Pig. Alright, watch this guy have Double Intimidate. Oh no Double Intimidate. Would've been pretty sick though, not gonna lie. Get rid of the male one, I guess. Oh, that crit mattered. Not that much, 2 more hits like we would've killed anyways. Jesus Christ, that did some damage. And Emperor's only around 200 pounds, I think. I mean, against some foes, Heat Crash is gonna do something, but some other foes, especially later in the game, ain't gonna do that much. My Pokemon was so cute. It's a doggo, of course it is. Pokemon listener said it as a fought for me. Trying to read that a little bit faster. Nicely done. You didn't win, but that was a good battle. Your Pokemon looked like they were having fun. Young man, if there is there are people like you who pursue strength. There are also people who are happy just being with Pokemon. There are many different people, and so many different answers. When it comes to what a champion should be, you and I may hold differing views, but so be it. Give it some thought. Let's roll! The Driftveil drawbridge is just ahead! The champion is the strongest of strong, that's all there is to it. Yeah, the other champion's way tougher than him. Both before this game and after this game. But anyways, there was a triple battle we could do here. An optional triple battle I think I actually missed out on for doing the gym first. Oh, that's fine. Some of these other dang it. This way! Come on, what if I wanted to battle one of these guys? Now to contact him. It's me, Elesa. Please lower the drawbridge. I have a couple of trainers here who want to challenge you. Okay, thanks. You couldn't have an animation of her pulling out a phone or something? No? Okay. And now watch this. If frickin' Kirby on the Game Boy Advance could have an animation of him pulling out a phone. I don't see why Elesa couldn't. Wow, a drawbridge. Wonderful. And just 2 episodes ago, we saw a way more impressive bridge than this thing. I have a TV gig, so I gotta go. The gym leader of the next town, and may take some getting used to. Do your best, both of you. I will, just because you told me to. Call me a simp, I don't care. What I am is a trainer. I prove I'm right by getting stronger and winning in battle, even against the champion. Not gonna happen, good sir. Hate to spoil it for you. As let me fight this old man over here. Hi, trainer. Let me turn you into a work of art. No, I don't. Okay, that's just creepy. What? Don't walk up to me and say you're gonna. Well, I walked up to you, but don't tell me you're gonna make me into a work of art. That just sounds wrong. Anyway, Sidja lifting. Sidja lifting these nuts. Ah. Okay. Do I outspeed you? I doubt you do any. Yeah, I outspeed you. Goodbye. Oh, just got whitewashed. I guess that means something different in painting terms, or if we were talking about Hollywood terms, that means something way different. Anyways. Turn around, and it's my turn. Turn around, and it's your turn. It's just called turn-based combat. Our dancer, Brian. Sentada Darumeka. Alright, also if it's your turn. God, I just love Ember. This is always one of my favorite starter Pokemon. I have so much nostalgia using it, it's always nice to use it again. I remember back in Regulation H and Scarlet and Violet, because at the time of me making this video, we're still at the end of Regulation G. But I made a Trick Room Ember team, and honestly I had a lot of fun using it. It was great. Definitely want to use that team again at some point, even though we're not in that format anymore. Alright, anyways, let's go to the bridge. However, there's a certain encounter I'd like to get there. Why don't we put Hubert in the front for this? Alright, Kisara's kind of falling off anyways. Kisara's pretty much just useful for the second gym. Alright, and now we're on the Driftveil Bridge. Fun fact, or drawbridge. Totally different. But anyways, fun fact about this bridge is actually nicknamed the Charizard Bridge. Despite, hey, this is Generation 5. What's a Charizard? That doesn't exist in this game, at least not yet. Sometime above the bridge, you can see the shadows of bird Pokemon, right? Their feathers drift to the ground here. And when you try to pick them up, occasionally you'll run into a Pokemon. This is just like the rustling grass, the rippling waters, and the sand, the one we'll call it, the dust clouds. So if we just keep walking around, we can also get some real special items that help us with our EVs. I think Sky was even better, just a little bit more. Makes my heart skip a beat too, man, I agree. Well, we'll talk about her in a later episode. Alright, let's just keep walking around to trigger the little shadow showing up. And might as well get the spectacle of this bridge. This is not the last bridge that we'll see in this game either. There's a lot of bridges in this region, weirdly enough. I think this region has the most bridges out of any Pokemon region, for that matter. Aside from maybe that Biker's Bridge in Kanto, I can't really think of any other notable bridges in any other Pokemon region, at least off the top of my head. Well, that wouldn't be until the very end of the DLC, though. That's the problem with that. Alright, come on. One of those shadows has to show up. We can get an encounter here, though. There's only one set Pokemon you can encounter on this bridge. And it's really not the best thing, but I guess it would be nice to have a little water-type coverage. Yes, spoiler alert, it's a water-type. Spoiler alert, yes, it's a Ducklet. We already saw it earlier in the game. I don't know, that thing's just lame in my eyes. But at least having some water-type coverage to a certain other water-type I want to get in this game, if I get it, would be more preferred. Oh, I can go past here. What do you have to say? When a ship passes, the bridge raises and lowers. But Clay controls when the ship runs from the start. So when the bridge raises and lowers, it's up to Clay. You better be constantly paying attention to it then. Oh, here we go. Hey, we got a Muscle Wing, which gives you 1 EV in your attack stat of any Pokemon you choose. There are other different wings as well. The Health Wing for HP, the Resist Wing for defense, Oh, here we go. Here's our encounter. And, like I mentioned earlier, it's a ducklet. Oh boy, indeed. So now, I don't want to really hit this thing, to be honest with you. Because I don't want to use air cutter, but then I accidentally crit it, so... just throw a Pokeball at it, it's really all I can do. Alright, stay in the ball, ducklet. It's a female ducklet as well. Alright, stay in the ball, come on, you can do it. Believe. Yes! So I guess this will be the water type coverage I use for the team. Sorry, I accidentally hit my mic again. Don't know if anybody heard that, but anyways, Ducklet, the water bird Pokemon. These bird Pokemon, are excellent divers. They swim around in the water eating their food, peat moss. Oh, so it's Cramorant before Cramorant, okay. Alright, so female Ducklets. If anybody has any names, please let me know, but otherwise, I'm thinking of a Tales of character I can name you after, and... Alright, yes, if you'd like me to name it Denny, I shall. Since I have yet to actually name a Pokemon encounter after a viewer in this Nuzlocke, so this will be the first one. Denny the Ducklet. Here we go. Alright, now with that being said, like I was mentioning earlier with the feathers, Resist Feather raises defense, Genius Feather, as we just got, raises special attack. I believe Clever Feather raises special defense, and Swift Feather raises speed. You can also get a Pretty Wing as well that gets you a little extra money when you sell them at shops. That's pretty much it. Yes, I remember her. Wow, most of these are just showing up even more now. I don't want to fight another Ducklet, man. Come on. Oh, this thing's cry is kind of funny to me, but whatever. Alright, there's also a few encounters I'd like to get once we get over to the next city. So I might as well put... let's put Luger on the front. He hasn't really done much this episode. Aside from doing which errands do what. When Driftveil is mentioned, what comes to mind is the cold storage and Charles. Oh, I know who Charles is. Alright, everybody ready? We're about to hear another really neat song. And this is such a great song that plays here. So much so, this song I think kind of became a meme in the Pokemon community, and honestly very understandable. And not in a bad way, of course, it's just the song was just that good, it's often played everywhere. I also have a few Driftveil remixes that I've heard off of YouTube. You know, like a good few years ago. If anybody's curious, I'll put them in the link in the description. But anyways, what you have to say. So how about the city's pride and joy of the drawbridge? We also call it the Charizard... See, what did I mention earlier? Charizard Bridge. Dude, it's all against form. Look, I know Charizard is awesome and stuff, but goddamn, even the Charizard bias was back in Generation 5. You think this bias is bad now? Oh boy, you can't wait to see it in the later generations. Hey, look at that, another bridge. Uh-oh. Humph. So you're the trainers Elesa was talking about, huh? I'm Clay. I'm generally around these parts. Don't be expecting no welcome now, cause when we lower that bridge, the Team Plasma guys we caught done escaping all the ruckus. Man, I was about to form real tight with my robot as well. What's a bother? We're grateful that you lowered the bridge, but how is it our fault that they escaped? I mean, blame Lisa, she's the one who asked you. You can say whatever you want, but what's important is y'all showed up, and Team Plasma escaped. Maybe it's a little heavy-handed, but y'all to start looking for Team Plasma too. You're both talented trainers, are you? Tell you what, if you find Team Plasma, I'll let you challenge my gym. Life's all about give and take. It's gotta be an equal amount of give and take, dude. It can't be one side doing all the taking, the other side doing all the giving. Well, I suppose that's fair. But, really, we would have looked for Team Plasma even if they hadn't asked. I can get stronger while beating that bothersome bunch. That's a better way to take it on like a certain other rival we'll see in the sequel. Spare Bear, I'll go on ahead. Though that rival does have a certain pretty good reason for acting the way he does. In my opinion, I think he does. I work at cold storage. The cold storage is the southernmost part of the city. A terrific trainer. Let me share a trading tip with you. During a battle with a trainer, even if your Pokemon's items are taken away, don't worry. They will be returned to you safely after the battle. But disposable items seem to disappear. Oh, you think? Well, up until Generation 9, that was finally changed in that game. Don't know why it took them that long, but they did it nonetheless. Now, there's a certain item I want to get in one of these houses that could be useful for the next gym. Hey, the professor gave you a Pokemon to start your journey, right? If the Pokemon is still with you, if you two have a strong bond, there's a special move it can learn. Want me to teach it a battle combo move now? Is that so? Well, come back now, you hear? No. That being the pledge moves for Grass Pledge, Water Pledge, and Fire Pledge. If you use them in specific combinations, you get 3 very unique effects. But back in Generation 5, they're only base 50 power, if I remember correctly. And I think as of Generation 8, they were changed to 80 base power. Please remind me if I'm wrong. Alright, Water Pledge, Fire Pledge, and Grass Pledge. These 3 moves will create a special effect if they are combined in battle. On the other side of the ocean, there are lots of different people and a lot of different Pokemon, aren't there? This is a little store over here. Hey there, trainer! Have you ever battled the Elite Four of the Pokemon League? I have, yes I have. You can't battle them unless you have 8 gym badges, right? That is true. Look at her. Fact-checking. But anyways, there's a certain encounter I want to get down here that's real important to me, and you'll see what I mean in just a bit. Though the trainers down here do use ice types, no, let's have Velvet on the front. Alright, you know, I guess I have no choice but to... Oh, wait, no, I don't have to battle him. Alright. Oh, hold up a second. Gotta delete this. The gameplay's gonna stop for a split second. Goodbye, and back to your regularly scheduled program. Back to your regularly scheduled program, as I said. But while we're at it, too, why don't we look at our little trainer badge over here? Look at our nice little gym badges. One thing, if I remember correctly, I think the different gym leaders you battle also have little quotes to them, too. Yeah, right here. I mean, it kind of spoils the gym leaders you'll see later in the game on, like, Hercule and Soul Silver kind of did something like that, too. Same with Diamond and Pearl, if I remember correctly. But anyways, the Trio brothers over here will say, the fundamentals of Pokemon battling are the type matchups. They're important. Yes, they are. Alright, Lenora says, curiosity is the spice of life. Without it, life is bland. Berg will say, that's right. You use bug-type Pokemon. Alright, and how is that inspiring? I don't get it. May you always continue to be a person who brightens your surroundings. They say really inspiring things. Yeah, they only say it after you beat them, though. So we'll see the other 4 once we've gotten those gym badges. Alright, let us make sure of that. Oh, yes. Velvet in the front. I might have Kisara on the front, actually, though. I don't want to actually accidentally kill the Pokemon that I'm trying to get. But the 2 Pokemon I am getting are weak to ice. Yes, spoiler alert, it's an ice type. So you know what? Yeah, let's have you over here. And I just simply want to attack it. Alright, Herdiers can be found here as well, so that's dupes if I run into it. Or Species Claws. Yep, as I said, Species Claws. Hey, let me know when you get it. That sounds fun. Alright, once we get this said team member, it's going to be a permanent member of the team. Because y'all know how much I love this Pokemon if you saw my Generation 5 tier list. Come on, it's not Herdier. I don't want Herdier, man. I might as well get this item while I'm here. An Ether. Alright, is this the Pokemon I'm looking for? Also Dupe's Claws? I already have a Girder. Fun fact about Emboar, Emboar is actually one of the worst Pokemon to use in a speedrun in the first Pokemon Black and White because of that little animation that you see there. Weirdly enough, this is the only generation where you have an extra animation depending on how heavy your Pokemon is. Also, Dupe's Claws. I already have him in Chino. So for heavy Pokemon like Emboar over here, that little shaking animation will play and the screen will shake. as well as those dust clouds will show up. I always thought that was pretty cool back when I was in elementary school. For Pokemon that are lighter than air or they float, they'll kind of just float to the ground. Here we go, that's the encounter I was looking for, Vanillite. And Ice-type Pokemon, one of my favorite Pokemon of Generation 5. I know, this thing was massively hated when it first came out back in Generation... Well, when this game first came out in Gen 5. But I love this thing, I don't care what anyone says. It's so adorable. And we have caught it, and it's male. I was gonna name it after the Great Spirit of Ice Celsius, but since it ain't female, I can't do that. Alright, the fresh snow Pokemon, Vanillite. The temperature of their breath is negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit. God damn. They create snow crystals and make the snow fall an area around them. Alright, nickname Vanillite. Yes, you are male. Alright, any male tails of characters noticeably use ice. Either... Well, this Vanillite isn't an old guy, but you know what, I got a decent nickname for him. I'm gonna name him after the butler Rowan from Tales of Xillia, who is the oldest playable character in that game, and his mystic art is an ice-based attack, which is why I'm gonna name him Rowan. Y'all should look him up from Tales of Xillia. He's a really, really cool character. Y'all know Alfred from DC Comics? He's kind of like that, but in Tales of. Alright, now with that being said, that's our encounter here. Wait, I don't have to battle this guy. Good to know. You get to the cold storage through the gap between the fence and the containers over there. Alright, do we need to heal? I don't think I took any damage, right? Yeah, no need to heal. Alright, let's have Hubert in the front. And now let's go over to this route. There's this little gap over here. We can get ourselves a nice little item. Another Ultra Ball to make up for the one we just used. Alright, Route 6. And probably our last encounter for this episode. And I think our last encounter up until we beat Clay. So, there are certain set amounts of Pokemon we can get here, but specifically Fungus, but I don't think it's going to be that useful for this Nuzlocke, especially since Fungus and Moongus are just better for doubles. And you already know I find that Pokemon to be a little passive. Well, never mind, I guess I'm getting him anyways. Fungus is what we will have. I mean, a pretty decent grass type, I guess. It's tanky. I'll give it that. Alright, too bad I can't use a move against it or I'll accidentally kill it, so just throw an Ultra Ball, I guess. Alright, and we caught him. Our Fungus, the mushroom Pokemon. It lures people in with its Pokeball pattern, then releases poisonous spores. Why it resembles a Pokeball is unknown. I'll tell you why, because it's supposed to be this game's rehashed version of the Voltorb line from Generation 1. Because you know how in RPGs there's the Mimic type of enemy class where there's an enemy that disguises itself as a treasure chest? Well, in Pokemon World, since items in the overworld still to this day even will show up as Pokeballs, that's this world's version of a Mimic, which is why we have Pokemon like Voltorb and Fungus over here. But anyways, this Fungus is male. What's a male Tales of character that I can name you after? Giving it a little thought. Not gonna lie, it's a bit difficult to think of a Tales of character name for this one. Because there's no Tales of characters that are associated with mushrooms. Honestly, I'm tempted to just name this after the Great Spirit of Earth Gnome, but it's not a rock or ground type, so I can't really do that. Hey, you know what? I think I know what I'll name him. Chris Albane, the very first protagonist of a Tales of game from Tales of Fantasia. Couldn't really think of anything better, so went for something a little more generic, I suppose. And that's the last encounter for this episode. Why don't we go back to the Pokémon Center? Let's rearrange up our team a little bit. Alright, hey, you have Ice Body. That'll be really good, actually. I could run Hail Strats, though it would be a little harder for the rest of the team to deal with. And, though that means I'll have 2 flying types, we've already dealt with the main electric type user in this game, so this isn't that big a deal. And besides, Kisara's kind of fallen off. I'd rather have 2 flying types in this game than 2 fighting types. Alright, Nurse Joy, heal me up. And now, next up, why don't we go to the cold storage? As well as a few other small things. Alright, like this dude over here. We actually were supposed to see him in Route 5, but since we beat Elesa first, we weren't able to fight him. And this guy does something pretty neat as well, actually. Something a little special, known as triple battles. One of my favorite battle formats I really wish would show up again in later games. I mean, they did show up in the Gen 6 Pokemon games, but as of Generation 7, we haven't seen them since. I'm a heartbreaker. My name, Charles. I wanted to get the attention of a girl, so I learned a new style of Pokemon battle. Its name is Rotation Battles. Want to learn about it? Yes. In Rotation Battles, you send out 3 Pokemon at a time. I said triple battles before, but Rotation Battles is kind of that as well, but different. And you'll see in a bit. Pokemon at a time to battle. One Pokemon takes the lead position, and the other 2 stand on each side. The trick is, each turn you can change the positions, and that's a rough explanation of Rotation Battles. I'm a heartbreaker, my name is Charles. Hey, if you're a trainer, I'm about a Rotation Battle. You got a good attitude, don't you? I'm a heartbreaker, my name Charles, we get it, dude. I'm always full throttle. Alright, so apparently, you see it right here. Rotation Battles were created just so some guy can simp for a girl. Yup. Anyways, Karkarock, Basculin, and Zebstrika. Oh, level 27. Alright, so one problem I've always kind of had with Rotation Battles, oh yes, Intimidate. In one good sense, which is why I'm kind of glad I guess I have Grass Knot in this case. But one problem I've always had, especially in the battle facilities in the Gen 6 games, with Rotation Battles, it always felt like the opponents were reading my inputs, which I wasn't really the biggest fan of. If we click that little arrow, we can use Hubert's moves, but if we click this arrow, and this arrow again, we can use Velvet's moves. But let's use Grass Knot. I think that's the most useful against the foes, and of course he goes over using Zebstrika. Flame Charge and Speed Boost. I'm not the biggest fan of that. So, to counteract this, I could switch into Hubert, and we could do a resisted flying type move. That'll do some decent damage to the others. Why not? Or either that, well yeah, you have a Speed Boost, so I'm not really the biggest fan of that. Alright, so let's assume you're gonna go for another Flame Charge. Air Cutter. Yeah, I always, see what I mean? It always feels like it's reading my inputs. I just never liked that. Maybe I just don't fully understand how the AI works in Rotation Battles, that's probably it, I don't know. Alright, Basculin I don't think will do too much to me. Take down. Alright, just in case you try to switch into Zebstrika and hit me with an electric type move, because you have +1 speed, we're going to go into Velvet for this one. And DQ. Nope. Almost like the AI knew I was going to do that. Interesting. But whatever. Either that or just sacked it off. I don't know. Alright, judging by how much Flame Charge did to Luger, also Velvet's level 37, Luger level 35. Judging by how much damage that did, Yeah, I don't think this is gonna do too much to... no spark for you. I'm a Heartbreak, my name... Yeah, we get it. The more times in a row you say something, the weaker its meaning. I can't speak. Sheesh, that's embarrassing. Getting schooled when I was planning to teach. Still, you have potential. You have to understand your Pokemon and win a rotation battle. If you want to have more rotation battles, go to Driftveil City. Alright, there's a little hidden entrance we can go over here, and that's in this direction. To give ourselves a nice little special item, the Big Pearl. I always remember this one since I actually found this little entrance here in elementary school. If you go inside this store first, it's actually a pretty neat hint you can find. I'm surprised this game doesn't use secrets like that more often. But anyways, I'm sorry, I'm all sold out. That Charles guy bought everything I had. Alright, well, that's fine. I believe this is where you can buy Moo Moo Milks in this game. Just buy a singular bottle, I don't think I need more than that. Alright, and this guy over here. Glad you came. You want something good? Then show me a Pokemon that's level 30 or more. Oh, strong. You're great, take this. An Expert Belt, which will raise the power of super effective moves by 20%. Which will be very useful. So useful, I think we should use this for our girl Velvet. Yes, because Velvet does have quite a bit of coverage moves. Well, just Rock Slide, really, but Rock Slide will definitely be good against those flying types that might try to take our ground type hits. So let's use that. Alright, and these two, if I remember correctly, I think one sold Instance. And they have all these medicinal powders as well, we don't really need any of those. I think this girl over here sold Instance, if I remember correctly. Or actually, that might be a post-game only thing. Yeah, it's a post-game only thing. Oh, now let's heal real fast, and let's go over to the cold storage. Speaking of, Driftveil City also has an encounter, but we can't get it without the TM Surf, so we'll wait on that. Alright, into the cold storage now. Oh, we gotta fight this guy. Oh, Sharon. Swearbear, do you think Team Plasma could be in there? I don't like cold places, but we have to check. What a bother. Honestly, what character likes cold places? Alright, you got anything to say? The reason why Clay is having you look for Team Plasma is because he's testing your abilities. Because he's too lazy to do it himself, that's all I'm hearing. But whatever. Oh, you know what? Rustling Grass. Might as well see what that is real fast. Probably an on-no we can beat up real quick. Only level 21. Luger, go! Thankfully, I have Rock Smash on Luger to deal just with these odd-nos. Makes grounding a bit easier, too. You noticing all the crits we're getting in this? God damn. Also, I think I was getting a lot of HP these actually as well. Thanks to all the odd-nos I've been fighting. But anyways, I think it's time to save here. I probably should have put Velvet in the front. I want Velvet trained for the gym battle, but otherwise. Yeah, let me put Velvet in the front. Now, let me just save again real quick. I know I'm wasting a little time by doing that, but yes. And while we're at it, why don't we do the outro? So, if y'all enjoyed this and you want to see more, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and follow. And when the videos you see on screen now, find YouTube and that bell button for more. I'm going to give a special thank you to Evan for joining me once again for this wonderful video. As well, consider answering the question of the day. What is your opinion on, or what is your experiences with Ferris wheels, if you've ridden on one before? And consider becoming a YouTube member for $3 a month and subscribe for $6 a month for a wonderful